Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. If you are ready, you can start, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Just give me 1 second.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You can hear me?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. We can hear you, Prabhu.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees. Today I was a bit late. Sorry for that. I was at a different place and there were some internet issues and all. In the last session, we were discussing about compassion of a Vaishnava. So compassion mainly from the context of spirituality more than the compassion that one shows on a bodily plane, which is also worth glorifying. At the same time, as Prabhupada says in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that compassion for the dress of a drowning person is not very much appreciated. We should save the person. Although the person is wearing a very expensive suit, or he is having some very expensive rings on his hands, or a wonderful wristwatch on his hands, still it's the person who is valuable. All the other objects are valuable, but person is more valuable. Okay. Therefore, just like we show compassion on the drowning person and not his external dress, similarly, we need to show compassion on the soul and not the external dress, which is this body. Okay. So compassion on the level of spirit soul is the real compassion. And this compassion is described with words like karuna, daya, bhurida, vadanya, anugraha, etc., etc. So the basis of compassion of a Vaishnava is paradukha dukhi. We also gave the examples of Vasudeva Datta, Advaitacharya, Parikshit Maharaj, and also we have seen the prayer of Parikshit Maharaj, prayer of Vasudeva Datta, and the nature of Parikshit Maharaj's compassion, which was deep, spontaneous, and complete. Deep, because a Vaishnava thinks of the welfare of others, even if he himself is in trouble. That's what Parikshit Maharaj is exhibiting. So Parikshit Maharaj heard different kinds of hellish descriptions, and then he was concerned, and he asked this question to Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami, how can the humanity be saved from entering hellish planets? Can you please tell me some solution for it? So adhuneha mahabhaga yathaiva narakan naraha nanogra yatanan neyat tanme vyakhyatum arhasi. Okay, please tell me the solution. How can we escape hellish planets? He's not speaking about himself, he's speaking about the people in general, right? That's for his compassion is deep and it's complete. He's not speaking about his own family or the Kshatriya community. He's asking about everybody, right? So he says, how can the entire humanity be saved from hellish planets? Why is he asking about human beings? What about animals? What about birds? Yeah, animals and birds do not go to hell, by the way. They have their own progression. They just transmigrate from one species to another species. Eventually, they come to human species. Then there is some karma and papa, punya, swarga, naraka, etc. The discussion is relevant for human beings more than animals. Okay, then it's very spontaneous. Parshit Maharaj did not think, oh, he spoke about hell. Maybe I should ask something about the welfare of common people. He is not trying to be politically correct. He is not trying to just make a show of having some kindness upon people, or he's not having some analysis or agendas. His compassion was extremely spontaneous, not based on any analysis. Okay. So now later we also saw, I'm not sure whether I mentioned this, the highest compassion is shown on spiritual plane. We discussed it, but that spiritual compassion is expressed to the highest degree when we inspire people to chant the holy names of Krishna and we glorify Krishna in front of everyone. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinantiye Bhurida Jana Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam. The nectarian narrations of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela are the real nectar or real life for people who are suffering the threefold material miseries in this world. Right? So Kalma Shapaham, they completely destroy the contamination of this material world. Shravana Mangalam, Krishna Katha creates great auspiciousness to everyone. Bhuvi Grinantiye Bhurida Janaha. So those who are actually describing the glories of Krishna are the most compassionate souls. The greatest compassion that one can exhibit on another living being is by speaking Harikatha to that living being, right? So this is the compassion of a Vaishnava. The greatest compassion is exhibited by sharing Harikatha with people in general and inspiring them to take to the path of Bhakti Yoga. Thus, the Acharyas are greatly compassionate. Feeding the poor, arranging for many things, hospitals or centers where they give free food or free water. All these are great displays of compassion. But the real compassion begins with sharing Harikatha, explaining to people how they have an eternal relationship with Krishna. And if you make an attempt to revive that relationship with Krishna, all your miseries are completely gone. You are thirsty now. You are thirsty now and I'm giving you water. That's compassion, definitely. Okay. That's an immediate exhibition of compassion on the bodily plane. But if one induces another person to chant the holy names of Krishna and perform Bhakti Yoga out of compassion, what will happen is one will become qualified to enter the spiritual realm where there is no hunger and no thirst, right? So there is no need to give water or food. Of course, water and food exist there also. But yatra naisarga durvaira sahasan rabragadeha mitrani va jitavasa dritarit tarshanadikam. Vrindavan is a place where people are not tormented by hunger and thirst, and definitely they have no envy and pride and greed, no anarthas. Okay. Even while hearing Harikatha, Parikshit Maharaj was not being thirsty. He is saying that Sarkadeva Goswami, don't worry. Don't think that I am getting thirsty or hungry or fatigued or feeling sleepy. I am not feeling sleepy at all. I am not feeling hunger or thirst. You just continue to glorify Harikatha. Then I will, I am absorbing myself in this beautiful narration. So I am not getting fatigued at all. Okay. So it's the Harikatha which is the maximum, that causes the maximum benefit for the soul. So a preacher, a Vaishnava preacher is most compassionate. That's why a Vaishnava travels from one place to another place. You have this shloka from the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. Janasya Krishnad Vimukhasya Daivat Dharmashilasya Sudukhitasya Anugrahayeha Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. Janasya Krishnad Vimukhasya. Krishnad Vimukhasya means there are people who have turned their faces away from Krishna. They have become averse to Krishna consciousness. They are not subordinates to Krishna. They don't have any devotion for Krishna. Vimukhasya Daivat. They have turned their faces away. Because of that, Adharmashilasya. They have become very adharmic. They took to adharma. Sudukhitasya. If you take to adharma, what will happen? One will naturally become sudukhitasya. Very, very distressful. Anugrahayeha charanti nunam. To show some anugraha on such people, great philanthropic souls, compassionate souls, travel from one place to another. Of a devotee's travel from one place to another place is an expression of his compassion as a representative of Krishna's compassion. Right? Are you able to hear me clearly? So the purpose of devotees' travels is to show compassion on common people. And even he says, Yudhishthira Maharaj glorifies Vidura. Bhavadvidha bhagavataha tirtha bhutaha swayam vibho tirthe kurvanti tirthani swantahasthena gadamhrita bhavadvidha bhagavataha. My dear Vidura, people like you carry Lord Krishna within their hearts. And when you travel from one place to another place to enlighten common people in Krishna consciousness, then you can purify their hearts. And in fact, you can even purify holy places also. Because so many sinful people come to holy places and take holy baths in holy rivers and dump all their sins in those rivers, in those places. So when pure devotees who carry Krishna within their hearts go to holy places, they purify the holy places and holy rivers from all that sinful contamination and that is dumped by sinful people, right? So a devotee is paradukkha dukkhi. So devotee can take up any kind of difficulties to relieve other people from difficulties, right? So even he says, Nanda Maharaj tells Gargamuni, Mahadvichalanam drunam grihinam dina chetasam nishreyasaya bhagavan kalpate nanyatha kvachit. Mahadvichalanam drunam. Mahat means great souls. Why do they go from one place to another place? Nishreyasaya, just to cause auspiciousness to Grihinam Dina Chetasam, those who are Dina Chetasa, those who are poor-hearted people who are just living in their materialistic households, not having any spiritual inclinations. So to show compassion on such people, devotees travel from one place to another place. Tesham vicharitam padbhyam tirthanam pavanechaya bhitasya kimna rocheta tavakanam samagamaha. Means this comes as a part of the prayers of prachetas, where it is said that Tesham vicharitam padbhyam tirthanam pavanechaya. When the Lord's personal associates, when the devotees wander all over the world to purify even the holy place, they purify even holy places of pilgrimage. and their wanderings. A devotee is wandering in this world, in this material world, is most beneficial for conditioned soul. What is the hope for a conditioned soul? How can a conditioned soul be delivered and liberated? Only when devotees travel from one place to another place, right? To enlighten people in Krishna consciousness. And the nature of a Madhyamadhikari devotee. Madhyamadhikari is one who is very much into preaching. Okay. So he has 4 ways of dealings. What are they? Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. Prema, they love the Lord. Maitri, they befriend other devotees. Kripa, they have compassion on innocent people. Upeksha, they stay away from envious people, right? For all practical reasons. Okay. So that Kripa is the most important element. So a devotee naturally seeks association from other devotees to enhance one's own devotion. But a devotee is not selfish. Devotee is not selfish that, okay, I should just work for my own spiritual emancipation, self-realization, and my entrance into spiritual world. I should also take 10 other people with me to the spiritual realm. Okay. Out of that compassion, one tries to enlighten common people. Okay. That's why Bhajananand is definitely glorious because he's doing bhajan, no doubt. But Goshtanand is even more glorious because apart from doing one's own bhajan, he's also trying to enlighten other people. And the best of all such great devotee preachers is Narada Muni. Not a single canto of Srimad Bhagavatam has no description of Narada Muni. Every single canto describes Narada Muni's activities, qualities. So Narada Muni on his own came to enlighten Dhruva Maharaj. Little 5-year-old child, he wanted to worship the Lord. So Narada Muni came, tested his determination, and then he enlightened him. He said, okay, you please go ahead. You chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, go to Madhuvan and sit on the banks of Yamuna, worship the Lord, chant the holy names of the Lord. So like that, he made him a pure devotee. And after making Dhruva pure devotee, a successful devotee who attained the Lord within just 6 months' time, Narada Muni started glorifying Dhruva. He would keep on praising Dhruva Maharaj wherever he goes. And Narada Muni also voluntarily came and enlightened Prachina Barhishat, one of the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. So he voluntarily came to Prachina Barhishat and said, Prachina Barhi, you are too absorbed in your karmakandic sacrifices. You are growing kusha grass all over your kingdom and trying to conduct back-to-back sacrifices. So all the animals that you have sacrificed so far, they're waiting for your death so that they can also sacrifice you. They can also pierce you with their sharp horns. So then he enlightened him, and Prachina Barhi took to devotional service. Where is Karma Kanda? Where is pure Bhakti Yoga? Narada Muni is the one who brought Prachina Barhi from his stage of absorption in karmakandic sacrifices to a great stage of performing Bhakti Yoga. So much so that he was so excited and so enthusiastic and so inspired to perform Bhakti that he just gave up his kingdom before the arrival of his sons Prachetas. Prachetas, the sons of Prachina Barhi, they went to the forest to perform some austerities for their purification. So they should come back and take the charge of the kingdom. Then Prachina Barhi should retire. That's the general format. But Prachina Barhi did not even wait for his sons to come back. Okay, they will come, they will take care of the kingdom. Let me just go and do Bhakti Yoga. He became so excited. So all this is because of the compassionate preaching done by Narada Muni. Okay. So a sadhu is one who is not satisfied with one's own liberation, one's own good standing in spiritual life. A sadhu is one who becomes restless, who becomes very excited, overwhelmed with an inspiration to preach and enlighten as many souls as possible and connect as many souls as possible to the path of Krishna consciousness. So the reason behind such endeavors to connect more people to Krishna consciousness is compassion. It is supposed to be compassion, not for self-aggrandizement. Not that, okay, I should get more followers. Okay, I should get the credit of connecting more people to Krishna consciousness. It's not for credit, it's out of compassion. Like the spiritual world, many people may just go and then there's a big queue. Okay, this is the gate of Vaikuntha or gate of Goloka. Okay, whoever is qualified can enter. So people are just going inside one by one, and the turn of one person comes, and the attendants there at the door, they say that, okay, you cannot go in, you take some more time. No, I have made thousands of people Krishna conscious. I have conducted so many preaching programs. I have given so many lectures. I have erected so many temples. I have done this. I have done that. I made so many people devotees. Then they will say, you have forgotten to make one person a devotee. That's yourself. Okay, that's yourself. So better you work on your devotion and then come back. Okay, sometimes even in one's preaching efforts also, one may become a bit selfish, or they get into some accomplishment mode more than compassion mode. So it's not our accomplishment to connect more people to bhakti. Yeah, it's definitely an accomplishment but that is accomplished by the grace of the Lord, right? By the compassion of the Lord, and we are just being instruments of that compassion. So in our attempts to connect more people to Krishna consciousness, we cannot compromise on our own Krishna consciousness, right? So it's not an achievement. Okay, I have 100 counsels. So that's an achievement. No, like you're not behind the achievement of getting more counsels or disciples. In fact, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami gives a specific warning. He says that a guru should not be overly enthusiastic to make more disciples. A devotee should not be more enthusiastic to erect more temples. Okay, a sadhaka should not be overly enthusiastic to read more books. Getting right? There are some important points. All they are mentioned. Don't read too many books. Don't build so many temples. Don't accept so many disciples. Okay, that does not mean we don't accept more people, disciples, or we don't erect temples. We don't read books or distribute books. Okay, that should happen, but in the right spirit. Rupa Goswami writes like that, and Prabhupada clarifies. When a guru is accepting more and more disciples for the purpose of connecting everyone to Krishna with a compassionate spirit, by transmitting Krishna's compassion and Parampara's compassion to the common people and then trying to connect them to bhakti, that's glorious. Prabhupada even says that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that my holy name should be chanted in every town and every village. Unless gurus initiate disciples and accept more and more disciples, how will that prophecy of Mahaprabhu be fulfilled? Prabhupada has this logic. Yes, we have to accept more disciples, but in the right spirit. So the spirit of either building temples or making students or preaching is compassion and not one's own accomplishment. Okay, so and we will be able to do it well to the degree we are absorbed in our own sadhana. The so-called compassion that one exhibits by compromising one's own spiritual standards and spiritual absorption, one's own chanting, one's own reading, one's own hearing, one's own relationships with other devotees and all that compassion that one shows is not that appreciated in devotional circles, right? So that cannot be called exactly compassion. Okay, So compassion, a compassionate devotee considers oneself as an instrument of compassion of Krishna. As I was saying last week also, if I said it, I don't remember. We are not originators of compassion. We are transmitters of compassion. So we need to transmit the compassion of Krishna and compassion of Parampara, and we should allow that flow of compassion flow through us. Right? Let it flow through me. It's not flowing from me, by the way. I'm not the origin of this river of compassion. I am also being drenched in this river of compassion only, and I'm allowing this to flow. Right? So when will that compassion flow? Through us, when we have the right consciousness. So the recipient of a compassion can exhibit compassion. So first we need to receive compassion. We need to take in. So one cannot compromise one's sadhana and spiritual standards. Okay, so that's the point. And in fact, entire Bhagavatam. Okay, let me quote this shloka. Sukadeva Goswami shloka. Sutta Goswami offers a prayer to Sukadeva Goswami before starting Bhagavatam. He said, Yahasvanubhavam akhila shruti saravekam adhyatma deepamatitir shatam tamondham samsarinam karunayah purana guhyam tam vyasa sunumupayami gurum munina Yahasvanubhavam akhila shruti saravekam. Sukadeva Goswami first has imbibed or internalized all the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sva Anubhavam. He has assimilated Akhila Shruti Saramekam, the essence of all scripture Srimad Bhagavatam has been assimilated by Sukadeva Goswami. He assimilated it, he inspired it, he experienced it, he absorbed it, he realized it. Then he showed compassion. Right? So, Akhila Shruti Saramekam Adhyatma Deepam Atititiri Shatam Tamondham Samsarinam Karunaya Aha Purana Guhyam. Samsari means materialistic people. Karunaya means compassion. Aha means he spoke. Purana Guhyam means confidential Purana of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sukadeva Goswami spoke this confidential Purana of Srimad Bhagavatam with a spirit of compassion. So, but before exhibiting that compassion, he personally assimilated it. Right? So, Yahasvanubhavam, first Svanubhavam, then Karunayaha. Okay, Karunayaha Purana Guhyam, Sva Anubhavam. Not that we keep on waiting. Let me realize entire Bhagavatam, then I will start sharing the message of Bhagavatam with others. As much as we have understood, we can share. Okay, the point is that Yathamathi Yathashritam, Yathadhitam Yathashritam. So whatever is my ability, to that degree we can show compassion. If I have 10 rupees, I can only give 10 rupees. I cannot give 20 rupees to someone. Right? So we need to increase our wealth from 10 rupees to 20 rupees, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 1,000 or 1 lakh, not rupees, but in terms of spiritual strength. Right? So to the degree we are strong in our bhakti, to that degree we can connect more people to bhakti. Okay. So this should go parallelly. My sadhana and my preaching, or what is that? My compassion, my expression of compassion. Okay. So one cannot be compassionate more than one's capacity. Of course, ultimately, everything is coming from Krishna, and we will be able to transmit that compassion coming from Krishna, coming from Parampara through us, to the degree we are recipients of that compassion, to the degree we absorb in the process given to us by the acharyas out of their compassion. Right? So in fact, Bhagavatam is spoken out of compassion. Soham dhrunam kshulla sukhaya dukkham mahadgatanam viramaya tasyam pravartaye bhagavatam puranam yadaha sakshad bhagavan rishibhyah. Soham dhrunam kshulla sukhaya dukkham. Great people are speaking Srimad Bhagavatam for this reason. For meager amount of happiness, common people are what to say, undergoing tremendous amount of distress. Soham dhrunam kshulla sukhaya mahad dukkham. Mahad dukkham means great distress. Kshulla sukha means meager happiness. For meager happiness, people undergo tremendous amount of distress, right? To stop that, Viramayatasya pravartaye bhagavatam puranam. So Maitreya Muni started speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to stop that endeavors. So this is an expression of compassion of great souls upon common people by explaining Srimad Bhagavatam. So why Bhagavatam speaking is an expression of compassion? I have quoted several shlokas, Gopi shloka and many other shlokas, because by speaking Harikatha only, we will be able to remind common people of their eternal relationship with Krishna. After hearing so many times, one day they will realize, yeah, I have a connection with Krishna. I am a servant of Krishna. I am a child of Krishna. I am a part and parcel of Krishna. So my duty is to serve him. And in his service only, I will be able to attain any happiness that I am searching for so restlessly in this material realm, right? So acharyas who are constantly writing the scriptures and the commentaries for all the Puranas, they are the most compassionate souls. Yairidrishi bhagavato gatiratmavada ekantato nigamabhi pratipaditana tushyantvad karunah swakritena nityam ko nama tat pratikaroti vinoda patram. There is one shloka spoken by Prithu Maharaj in the 4th canto of Bhagavatam. He says that there are so many exalted devotees who have written enlightening commentaries on the scriptures, okay, out of their compassion, definitely out of their compassion, okay. Tushyanti adabhara karunaha sokritena nityam. Now, you see, we won't be able to repay these great souls for what they have done. Acharyas are writing commentaries. Okay, you have given me commentary, I will give you 10 rupees or I will give you 1 lakh donation. Okay, is it a payment? Will your donation is a apt payment for the endeavor that he has done, right? Whatever may be the amount of donation that we give, whatever may be the amount of service that we do, we will never be able to repay the debt that we owe to the acharyas. Okay, that's what the shloka says, right? It says that tushyanti adabhara karunaha swakritena nityam. When somebody has compassion, adabhara karunaha means that inconceivable compassion, that causeless compassion, when they show, that compassionate spirit itself satisfies their hearts. When a devotee speaks Harikatha to common people out of compassion, whether the common people accept it or not, reciprocate with it or not, repay for it or not, do some service or give some donation or whatever it, whether they do it or not, the very fact that this acharya has exhibited some compassion on those people will completely satisfy the heart. Tushyanti adabhara karunaha swakritena nityam. They are satisfied by their own activities that they are performing out of their deep compassion. So what does it mean? Compassion satisfies the heart. When you are sincerely compassionate upon other people, kind upon other people, merciful upon other people, that quality of mercy, quality of compassion, quality of kindness will satisfy the heart, but not that whether other people praise me, glorify me, or offer me something material or not. I am satisfied because I have acted as an instrument of compassion in Krishna's hands. Of course, definitely when someone is sincerely taking to the path and becoming devotees, an acharya who is teaching will become naturally happy. Okay, but that happiness is the happiness of increasing one more member in Krishna's entourage. Okay, one more member amongst the Vaishnava community. Okay, that's the happiness that a devotee derives, not for any material products. Okay, not for any material benefits that one derives from preaching, right? So Now, Prahlad Maharaj offers this prayer to Narasimhadeva. He says, Naivo dvije paraduratya vaitaranyah tvadvirya gayana mahamritamagna chittaha sochetato vimukha indriyartha maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. Says, oh Lord, I personally have no difficulties. Okay. I don't have any troubles in this world. Why? Tvadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chittaha. My chitta is completely absorbed in the process of glorifying your prowess, your glories, your nama, rupa, guna, lila. Okay. So a devotee is personally very happy hearing Harikatha, glorifying Krishna. Okay. But a devotee also has one trouble. Sochetato vimukha chetasa indriyartha maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. When devotees see vimudhas, materialistic people who are totally absorbed in maya sukha, for indriyartha, they are just running behind sense objects. They are trying to make themselves happy by illusory happiness. They have become vimukha chetasa. They have turned their faces away from Krishna. They have taken away their consciousness from Krishna. Seeing them, so chetato, devotee laments. Okay, seeing the vimudhas, foolish people, devotee laments. So this is the ultimate attitude of an acharya who is personally very, very, very happy in one's own spiritual activities of hearing about Krishna and glorifying Krishna. But he's also deeply unhappy seeing the condition of the conditioned souls. Right? That combination is very deadly combination, great combination. Okay. Personally, you are very happy because of your absorption in Krishna. And you're also unhappy seeing the fallen state of conditioned souls. So when your happiness is so high in Harikatha, and when your compassion is so high looking at the common people, such a person can effectively transform the hearts of people, and he can bring more and more and more people to Krishna consciousness, right? So this is the way of preaching. I hope I'm able to communicate. Unless we are nourished, happy, satisfied, and enjoying the path of Krishna consciousness, right? Susukham kartum avyam. Unless we are happy performing bhakti, unless we are happy chanting Krishna's names, unless we are happy worshipping Krishna's deities, unless we are happy reading Bhagavatam, we can't make others happy. We can't inform others that you also be happy doing bhakti, right? So if we are not happy, of course, there, as in sadhaka stage, there may be some struggles to control senses, control mind, etc., etc. But a sadhaka, bona fide sadhaka, is one who is happily struggling, right? Happily struggling to perform bhakti, right? So that's bona fide sadhaka. If the little struggle is also not there, then we are siddhas, not sadhakas. Then we are self-realized souls. We are not sadhakas. Okay. In sadhana stage, definitely there is some shortcomings in our practice, but a sadhaka is bona fide sadhaka when there is complete commitment to the path. Okay. When a sadhaka sees the deities being worshipped nicely, he naturally feels happy. When a sadhaka sees so many people chanting and he's also chanting, he naturally feels happy. He may be sleeping in japa, that's fine, right? And he's because he is trying to get up in japa, right? He's not keeping the bead bag aside. Okay, he somehow managing to complete 16 rounds every day, and is committed to that count at least. So that's a bona fide sadhaka who may be struggling with certain shortcomings, but he is sufficiently inspired to continue on the path. And while doing so, he is also trying to connect more people to bhakti. Okay, so absorption in one's own spiritual practices and one is being happy in one's own spiritual practices, being happy with by reading the pastimes of Krishna, actually naturally relishing Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, right? Genuinely appreciating the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj, or Prahlad Maharaj, or Dhruva Maharaj, or Kunti's prayers, naturally relishing the prayers offered by so many pure devotees in Bhagavatam. So that natural relish, that natural happiness in practicing bhakti should also induce a spirit of compassion in the sadhaka, that I want to give this happiness with others. I want to share this happiness with others. I am not selfish that I want to become happy myself only, right? I also want to share. Many devotees who just came to Krishna consciousness, they have been practicing 2, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, new IOS boys, they say, they go to senior devotees, senior congregation devotees, and they would say, Prabhu, Mataji, can you please speak to our parents? I want them also to become devotees, right? Or somebody who just joined Brahmacharya ashram, he may go to a senior Brahmacharya and he would say, Prabhu, can you please speak to my brother? I want him also to become Krishna conscious. So they want to share that joy of Krishna consciousness with their family members also. Okay. Somehow by coming in contact with the compassion of some devotees, they become devotees. They want their brothers, sisters, their parents and family members also to become Krishna conscious. Oh, you are taking so-and-so devotee for yatra. Can you please take my parents also for yatra? Right? So like that, they want to share that joy. They want to extend that joy. Okay. So that is a small exhibition of compassion only in that sense. Okay. Now there is this prayer offered by Rantidev. You know Rantidev, right? Nakamayeham gatimishwarat param ashtardhiyuktam apunarbhavam vam artim prapadye khiladeha bhajam antahasthito yena bhavantya dukkha. When Rantidev was taking his prasad after 48 days of fasting, not 48 minutes of fasting, 48 days of fasting, he was taking some prasad, okay, with his family members. Already, although he's a king, he is quite poor king, okay, because he would just distribute everything that he has. He hardly has anything with him, okay, for namesake he is a king. So he was eating some prasad and some Brahmana came, he said, I'm hungry. He gave half of his prasad to him. Someone came, some Sudra came, some Chandala came, somebody with dogs came. Many people were coming and he just distributing everything to them. And he did not even have some water also. When he was about to give his little half cup of water to the final beggar who has come to beg from him, he offered a prayer. My dear Lord, I am unable to see people suffering like this. I don't pray for Ashtardhiyuktam. I don't pray for the Ashtasiddhis that will come by practicing mystic yoga. Okay. I am not even praying for liberation. I can stay amongst these living beings and suffer their distresses on their behalf. I will suffer for them. This Rantidev's prayer is somewhat similar to the prayer of Vasudeva Datta. Vasudeva Datta also said, Krishna, Mahaprabhu, please give all the sinful reactions of people to me. I will suffer on their behalf. And you take them to spiritual world, I will go to hell. I can remain in hell for the rest of eternity, provided you take everyone to the spiritual world. So to that degree, a devotee is compassionate. A devotee is naturally titikshavaha karunikaha suhrudaha sarvadehinam ajata shatravaha shantaha sadhavaha sadhubhushanaha. Sadhubhushana, the real ornament of a sadhu, a devotee, is his karunika. Titiksha means tolerance. Unless you have compassion, how can you tolerate the activities of common people? Right? Titiksha, they have tolerance. Karunikaha, they have great compassion. Suhrudaha sarvadehinam, they are suhruds. They are very, very friendly well-wishers of all living beings. And that quality of being suhrut is quality of Krishna also. Right? Krishna is suhrut. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram Suhridam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shanti mrichati. Although he is the bhokta, enjoyer of everything, he is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he is the proprietor of everything. Still, he is Suhridaha Sarva Bhutana. He is dearest friend and well-wisher of every living being. Because Krishna is compassionate and devotees are Krishna conscious, they also are compassionate. The compassion that devotees have for common people is the compassion of Krishna. Because they are so intimately connected with Krishna, Krishna's quality of compassion comes into them and flows through them, right? To the degree we love Krishna, to that degree we are compassionate on common people who do not love Krishna. Technically, spiritually, they are also lovers of Krishna, supposed to be lovers of Krishna, right? Servants of Krishna, but they have forgotten that. They are in a different consciousness only. Therefore, a devotee who developed love for Krishna will naturally show compassion on common people who are not loving Krishna at this moment. I should make them also lovers of Krishna. Okay. So when you love God, you love those who love God naturally. That's easy and obvious. But you also love those whom God loves. Loving those who love God is at one level. Loving those whom God loves is at a higher level. Okay. The Lord loves everybody. Krishna loves everyone because everyone is a part and parcel of Krishna. Everyone is an amsha of Krishna. Naturally, Krishna has love for every single living being. And devotee who loves Krishna becomes naturally loving and compassionate to even common people also. I spoke for about 50 minutes or 45 minutes. Before I continue, I can open for questions. Anyone has any questions or comments at this moment? Or any pending questions from the previous session? Okay, fine, I'll continue. In gratitude, tolerance, all these other qualities, we had a lot of questions, but in compassion, there is no question. Okay, so that means that all of you are compassionate. So there is this shloka from the second canto Bhagavatam. Kirata hunandhra pulindra pulkasha abhira shumbha yavana khasadayah yenye cha papa yadapa shraya shrayah shuddhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumbha. So these are the names of different races no, race means not horse race. Race means a section, a community. Okay. So even they also can be purified, right? Yenye cha papa yadapa shraya shrayaha. So like some of these people, many of these people are considered little sinful and not very developed in their consciousness. But even those people also can be completely purified by coming in contact with a compassionate devotee. So Sukadeva Goswami is offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord Krishna and praying to Krishna to decorate his words with the right kind of vocabulary and right kind of content, so that common people become inspired to take to Krishna consciousness, right? He's offering obeisances and he's praying for empowerment from the Lord. Oh Lord, please make me speak the right words to inspire their hearts. So this is the prayer of many devotees who are trying to spread Krishna consciousness. My Lord, only by your strength, only by your potency, only by your blessings, I will get some ability to speak the right kind of words to inspire these devotees, these people, right? When we are going into the outside world, we are not sure what will impress them. When we are speaking to outside people who may not be practicing bhakti at this moment, so we don't know what impresses them, what is right to speak, what is wrong to speak. Sometimes we can't figure out. Sometimes we get some idea, okay? So recently when I went for Rotary Club event, they asked me to speak about service. I spoke about service, and before the event, the main governor, so he was, I asked him, so can I quote some Bhagavad Gita shlokas to just make some points. He said, okay, first, but then he said, no, no, different kinds of people will be there. I don't know how much they will be able to handle all this. So minimal as possible. Okay, a quote. But I spoke without Gita shlokas. I quoted one Bhagavatam shloka only without taking name Bhagavatam, but the content is there only. Like you need to be very tolerant, very patient in transmitting Krishna consciousness to people in a way that they can digest, right? So ultimately, the aim is to connect people to Krishna, but that connection with Krishna should be made with a strategy, with intelligence. Prabhupada, when he was leaving his body, before some time, he left his body, he had spoken to Giriraj Maharaj, a very popular pastime. So Prabhupada said, how will the movement spread? He was very concerned. How will ISKCON flourish? Then Giriraj Maharaj said that if we follow four regulative principles and if we chant the holy names of Krishna nicely, then movement will spread. Prabhupada said intelligence and organization. Yes, what Giriraj Maharaj said is perfect and Prabhupada approves that. But intelligence and organization are also important, right? So we also need to have some intelligence and strategy. Sometimes speaking something which they can't digest. I was saying sometimes you can't just begin with hellish planets. If you do this, you will go to this hell. If you do this, you will go to this hell. If you begin our preaching program with 26th chapter, 5th canto, where all the hellish planets are described, or if you begin with Uddhava Gita, or if you begin with some other core Vaishnava scriptures are very hard-hitting Rishabhadev's teachings. Rishabhadev's teachings are very, very fierce. Pumsam striyaha mithuni bhavametam. You are being tied in this hard knot of material existence and false ego because of your attraction towards the opposite gender. You become very bewildered, right? So give something that they can easily accept, right? Like you see, Krishna speaks, amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam. Acharyopasanam, they may not accept immediately. When we say amanitvam, new people can connect with it. Yeah, we should not be proud. That's very easy for them to make a connect. Okay, adambhitvam, okay, I should not be proud, I should not be arrogant. Ahimsa, I should not be violent. Kshantirarjavam, I should be tolerant. Arjivam, I should be simple. So, like you take from Bhagavad Gita only, and from that Bhagavad Gita, you start speaking to people compassionately, okay, in such a way that they can digest. This is what personal realization is. In the first canto, 4th chapter, 1st shloka, purport, Prabhupada writes, what is personal realization? Don't screw out some obscure meaning from the purports of acharyas to match your agendas, but present the essence in an interesting manner to people. Present the essence in a very digestible, relatable, applicable manner to common people so that they make an initial connect. Okay, and then slowly, gradually, you can bring them to Krishna consciousness. Like many times our youth preachers and all, they begin with seminars on stress management, time management, why good things happen to bad people. No, why bad things happen to good people. So these kind of topics they speak. Sets for happiness, who am I? Okay, so they may quote some statistics, they may quote some scientific truths, and then slowly bring them to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you just begin, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. They may say, why I should chant Hare Krishna? Okay, you are stressed out. Please understand that. Begin with stress management, right? So compassion can be exhibited in various forms, various levels, okay, in various ways. So what the spirit is compassion, but that expression of that emotion of compassion manifests in our words and actions in such a way that it matches the time, place, and circumstances and the candidates we are dealing with, right? So the candidates whom we are dealing with will decide what flavor of compassion we should show, right? What kind of words that we should speak to inspire them, to make a connect. And devotee is compassionate on entire humanity, right? He may get to interact with a small portion of that humanity, right, out of compassion. And amongst that little portion, maybe 10%, 20% may, or 5% or 1% may get connected to bhakti. So devotees are minority in this material world. In this material world, devotees have been minority. They will continue to be minority, especially in Kali Yuga. Okay, you may not have great numbers. Okay, but the spirit of compassion should occupy the major portion of a devotee's heart, right? So, Paramatma, we have a question.
Yes, Prabhu. Actually, I was waiting to ask the question and you brought in the same thing actually. So out of compassion, a person might be, sorry, my throat is not good, want to preach, but there are multiple flavors, especially when someone is speaking to the audience, not bringing Krishna directly in an indirect way. That seems to be very dry in one sense for a devotee and very tough. Rather directly speaking about Krishna wholeheartedly, it makes one feel happy that I am of some use. But speaking indirectly, there is all great chances that one can get deviated also, right, Prabhu? So
yes, of course.
What is that situation seems to be? It's an immature preacher is suffering like that, or how to understand?
It all depends on the spiritual master's sanction. Okay. So, in the name of innovation, we can't get into deviation. Innovation in preaching should not lead to deviation. Okay, I have compassion. I want to make some innovation. Then it lead to deviation. Then that's too much. Okay, but as long as we are on track and we try to bring people on track, that's and we have approval, heartfelt approval of spiritual master. That's good. What were you asking, Prabhu? Just initially you were asking
and
something.
It is also tough for a person, for some people, to speak indirectly about Krishna than directly about Krishna.
Yes, correct. Definitely, when you speak directly about Krishna, that nourishes our hearts. Okay, that's the most exciting way of speaking, the exciting way of utilizing our vocal cords, our ability to speak. However, we also need to acknowledge the kind of audience that we are facing, and accordingly we speak. Just like rabdi is very good, very nourishing, but the small child, newborn baby, is unable to digest rabdi. Okay, so he should just drink mother's milk, right? So he can't just digest rabdi. So what's the point of giving a very, very nourishing, nutritious, tasty, opulently made diet to a person who has poor digestion power? Okay, and one more point is we should choose our audience. Every devotee, every teacher, or every preacher need not speak to every kind of audience. In that book also, Art of Studying and Teaching Scriptures, in the last chapter, last section I mentioned this only. There are different types of audiences. Core Bhagavatam class in temple hall, then Rath Yatra. So in Rath Yatra, who will come? We don't know. Anybody can come. Okay. But the person who is giving Rath Yatra class, he should speak about Jagannath Ji. He should speak about Jagannath Ji's pastimes, but very, very simple and lucid to understand pastimes, and not very high things. Okay, so yeah, we need to have that flexibility and adaptability and maturity. Some devotees, they can just change gears like anything. When they're sitting with devotees, brahmacharis or grahasthas, they keep adapting to the style of presentation. Okay, when they speak to new people, experienced people, business people, and all, so somehow give Krishna and bhakti in a package that they will be able to appreciate at this moment. You may not be saying Krishna immediately, okay, but eventually you will make them say Krishna. And not that 100% of everyone, 100% of the audience will come to Krishna. So some of them only can come to Krishna. That's fine.
Yes, Prabhu. That makes a very nice point. That we can select the audience. One cannot be good at giving a class in different audience. So that I understand. Now, my second, I have only two questions, Prabhu. The second thing is, can you elaborate on something? It is clear already, but having more numbers, people go by running numbers, whether it's a book distribution or preaching. I want to make that score, I want to make that thing, and the behind the scenes compassion is not seen, but something else is seen. Okay, now at the same time, not reading many books, right? People also do read a lot of books, Jaiva Dharma, Sandarbhas, we have a lot of detailed things. So some of the devotees, they clearly tell Prabhu that, oh, I don't have that intelligence, I don't want to read, I am happy with whatever little I have. But some people have more desire. So in what context both the things have to be understood clearly, Prabhu?
Ultimately, it matters. What matters is consciousness. Okay. Whether somebody is reading more books or less number of books, or somebody is reaching out to more numbers or less numbers. What is the consciousness? Whether somebody is doing Maharati on Janmashtami day or washing pots on any other day in the DT room. What is the consciousness? Whether somebody is just brooming and mopping the floor of the temple, or whether somebody is giving a pravachan to 10,000 people. What is the consciousness? It's the consciousness that matters. Somebody may be just washing pots, thinking that all these people who are addressing big audiences, they're very proud. I'm so humble, I'm washing pots. Somebody's proud of one's humility, right? So I'm very proud of my humility. It's like that. And somebody may be doing big services of outreach or whatever, fundraising or book distribution or big numbers and all. If the consciousness is to achieve numbers only and not to inculcate Krishna consciousness in a humble mood, then it's wrong. The simple one-line answer is, it's the consciousness with which we do the activities. Somebody may read so many books just to understand the tattva, just to present the tattva to common people. Okay, that's perfectly all right, right? He may read so many books, but somebody may say, I will not read so many books, and there is some pride in the heart. See, these people are like gnanis. They are reading so many books. Reading so many books is gnani. You are a gnani. Okay, I read less books, I am a bhakta. Somebody may have that consciousness also, right? Who knows? Whether in, like, I give this example of Parikshit Maharaj and Chitraketu Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj did not say sorry to Shami Rishi. And Chitraketu Maharaj said sorry to Mother Parvati. Both did some small mistake and both were cursed either to become demon or to die within 7 days. But one person said sorry, one person did not say sorry. Okay. Who is right and who is wrong? Both are right. What's the consciousness? In saying sorry or not saying sorry, both Parikshit and Chitraketu are being concerned about the emotions of the other devotee, other Vaishnava. If I say sorry, Shami Krishna will get hurt. He'll feel embarrassed. So let me not say sorry. If I don't say sorry, Mother Parvati is already upset. She'll become more upset. Let me go and pacify her. So, but that way, in saying sorry or not saying sorry, both Parikshit and Chitraketu only showed empathy towards the feelings of other devotees, right? So similarly, whether somebody is doing a very high performance job or very low performance job, reading so many books or reading less number of books, having so many counsellors or disciples or only just few of them, it's the consciousness that matters. Krishna is bhavagrahi. Okay, Krishna is not accomplishment grahi. Krishna is not number grahi. Krishna is bhavagrahi. Okay.
Yes, perfect answer. Thank you so much.
Amara Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much again for your wonderful, inspiring class. Prabhu, as you mentioned that we need to know our audience also, like their interest. So I want to understand, like, how do we understand our audience in two setups, like in person and online setup, when we are meeting them, let's say for the first time. So this was my first question, and another is just related. So just asking that what should be preparation of a preacher from like let's say from my own side, what should be my preparation as such to be ready, to feel ready for preaching?
Okay. First question, how do I know my audience? Answer is, we cannot know an audience completely.
Yeah. Sorry, Prabhu, lost your voice.
And the mood or the need of our audience completely.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Are you able to hear? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was saying that it's not possible to understand the moods and the needs of the audience completely for any preacher or teacher. Okay. But we can get a fair amount of understanding of the level of the audience, mood of the audience by inquiries, by proper inquiry. Now, for example, somebody is inviting me. Recently, someone invited me for a Rotary Club event. Okay, I had a meeting with them. They themselves said, okay, you come for a meeting. So online we had a meeting for 15-20 minutes or maybe less than that. And then they said, this is the type of audience, this is the background of the audience, you need to speak on this theme. Okay. So we had some kind of understanding. And now like next week I have a TED talk. So the college, the university people who are organizing the TED talk, so they had a small call with me, some 10-15 minutes call, and they said, this is the thing, this is what you need to speak, this is what you cannot speak in this forum, right? So accordingly, you get an understanding of your audience, right? You need to ask some questions, and whoever is calling you, they should give some communication to you. These are our audience, please speak accordingly. Okay, whether it's corporates or devotees or new people, or youth, or congregation or brahmacharis or whoever. Okay, so you understand the needs to some degree, but however much you try to present, there are always few people in the audience who may not be able to make a connection immediately. That's fine. Okay, we can't be so ambitious that every single person in my audience should become a 16 rounder by the end of my class. It may not happen, by the way. Okay, so few people will connect. And as far as preparation is concerned, first preparation is preparation of consciousness, preparation of mood. In what mood should I address this audience? In the mood of a servant of Krishna, in the mood of their servant also, in the mood of being an instrument in the hands of Guru, Krishna and Vaishnavas and the Acharyas. So they have asked me to present this subject matter to this audience. So by whatever knowledge I have gained from them, whatever blessings I have gained from them, so that will only enable me to speak. I'm an instrument in their hands. So first mood is prayerful mood. So Sukadeva Goswami, before presenting Bhagavatam to people, he also offered prayers. Suta Goswami, before presenting Bhagavatam to sages of Naimisharanya, he offered prayers to Sukadeva Goswami, right? The first preparation is preparing our mood, preparing our consciousness by offering prayers to Guru, Krishna, Acharyas, and all the Vaishnavas who have empowered us to do that service. Okay, that's the first thing. Next is, once you have some kind of understanding of the audience, some basic understanding of the audience, you start making your points or selecting your slokas or selecting your stories according to what could appeal to them. Okay, children, they can't digest so much philosophy. Okay, you please speak some simple stories, right? So ultimately, what manifests in our speech is, number one is our mood. Okay, number two is audience need. But that audience need and our mood will match. There is some kind of balance or some meeting that happens between our mood and their need. Okay, they may have this need, but we have a particular mood, we have a particular niche, we have a particular taste. So we try to bring in our taste in closer to their mood. Okay, now if you ask me to speak to children, okay, children may have certain needs. But what I know Bhagavatam, I know Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita and all, whatever I know, I try to bring what I know closer to their needs. If someone else has to present something to a particular audience, that someone else will bring whatever he knows closer to this audience.
Right.
Okay. Thus, everybody, like you may approach 10 preachers to speak about to a particular audience, and the audience have certain needs. All 10 people will address the needs in 10 different ways because they have particular moods also, right? So we have a certain mood and they have a certain need, and then we somehow try to bring it as close as possible in our speech, in our expressions, right?
Yeah. So like audience
But
can
the
also
inner
have
mood is
different,
compassion.
sorry, audience can also have different needs, right?
Yeah, different needs, correct.
But still, I mean, that can still be brought to close to their needs.
As much as possible.
As
There is
much.
no perfect balance anywhere. Okay.
Right.
So as much as possible, as much as we can. Then if you see that, oh, this audience I just cannot handle, please approach another speaker. Okay. I cannot handle this audience. We should be humble enough to assess our own abilities and then present. Or you can try once or twice, you see, yeah, now don't ask me to do this. Okay. Some devotees are there. They can give general classes so nicely. But when you schedule them for a Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhav class where you have to go shloka by shloka, I never spoke. I only spoke. Some people say, some teachers say, shloka by shloka, I never spoke. This is not my style. I speak themes. You give me one topic, I'll speak whatever I want or whatever I know, whatever I have learned on that topic. They are comfortable there. But if you say, speak this chapter shloka by shloka, chapter by chapter, they are not comfortable. Some people are teachers, core teachers. They will just speak only shloka by shloka. If you ask them, if you say you have to give class to this audience, they'll ask which chapter. They'll not ask which topic. They'll ask which chapter. Right? That's what they're used to. They're teachers. They're not preachers. Okay. So these are some, and some people fill the class with jokes. Some people fill the class with shlokas. Some people fill the class with analogies. Okay. Now, Sukadeva Goswami, for example, let me give you this one example to conclude the answer. Something close to what Paramatma Prabhu also asked some time back. Sukadeva Goswami was speaking features of monsoon. In the 20th chapter of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami was speaking the features of monsoon. Okay. In our Bhagavad Pravaha sessions, so I was just speaking, like many years ago, COVID time, people were pushing me, you speak with this canto also, that canto also. I ended up speaking all 12 cantos in some 70 sessions, although I had other things to do. The devotee who is recording the video, so he is the one who recorded all 20 videos, recording a transmission YouTube live. So he heard first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, up to 19th chapter he has heard. It's all pure Krishna Leela. I was speaking Damodar Leela, Amrita Bhakshana Leela, then what else? Kaliya Leela, then other childhood pastimes of Krishna and quoting from other places also. But when I came to 20th chapter, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking features of monsoon of Vrindavan. In that chapter, there is no Krishna. Right? So I was just saying, okay, in monsoon, rain falls and rain washes the mountains and mountains become clean, devotees are tolerant. I was speaking like this kind of lessons. In monsoon, rivers flow and go to the ocean, and there is agitation at the junction. Okay. In monsoon, small ponds will get overflowed with rainwaters, and yogis also feel nourishment when they receive their benedictions. Similarly, the other point is, Mother Earth has been doing austerity during summer. She became dry and she got the benediction of rains. Similarly, yogis perform austerities, and when they get benedictions, they feel nourished. So these are the points that Sukadeva Goswami I was speaking. Right. And after 1 hour recording, the devotee who is just behind the camera, he said, Prabhu, the class was so boring, right? You did not speak a single word about Krishna. Okay. I just couldn't connect only. Last, 19 chapters means last, 4 or 5 videos, you are speaking pure Krishna Katha, but in this there's no Krishna. Right? I just couldn't connect with it. Okay. He's a very nice devotee. And he likes to hear Krishna's pastime. There's no Krishna pastime. Only series of analogies only, features of monsoon. Of course, a part of Bhagavatam, it has its own charm. Then 24 Gurus episode is there. Same thing, similar. So within Bhagavatam also, there are so many episodes where pure Krishna element you cannot see, but ultimately all of the descriptions are leading towards Krishna consciousness. Getting right?
Yeah.
So second canto, some people, it's like overhead transmission for them. Okay, they just cannot handle second canto at all. What is this Mahatattva, Ahankar, 24 elements, this and that? It's like too much. Where is Krishna here? They say, of course, everything is coming from Krishna. That's fine. We understood that. Everything is coming from Krishna. It's going back to Krishna. How it is coming, how it is going, it's little too much for me to digest. That's fine. That's a preference. Some devotees want to hear core Harikatha pastimes, but Bhagavatam has everything. Gita has everything. Right? So Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, they're also there. Similarly, when our modern preachers also present different things, okay, just to address the audience. For example, second canto, first sloka to 11th sloka, Sukadeva Goswami just kind of gives entire essence of Bhagavatam there. Okay. Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami how to live and how to live. And Sukadeva Goswami in 11 shlokas, he says you have to hear, chant and glorify Krishna. This is what you need to do. And you cannot do anything disconnected from Krishna. Etan nirvidyamananam ichhatam bhayam yoginam nripa nirnitam harer namanu kirtanam. He concluded his answer with holy name, glorification of holy name. Done. Bhagavatam is done. Then Sukadeva Goswami thought, there are some Devata worshippers there. There are some Ashtanga yogis there. So I should do something about them also. Then he started speaking Ashtanga yoga. And that Ashtanga yoga is a bouncer for Janta, for devotee crowd. Okay. But their Ashtanga yogis, they're able to relate with this Ashtanga yoga. Paramatma meditation, Krama Mukti, what is that? Karma Mishra Bhakti, Gnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Bhakti Mishra Karma, Bhakti Mishra Gnana. My God, it's like too overwhelming. Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, Guni Bhuta Bhakti, all this complicated discussion, Virat Rup meditation, Paramatma meditation, it's too much. But he had this audience, mixed audience, where he has to speak a few other words also, to appeal to them and also protect the confidentiality of bhakti. Whoever is qualified will understand my inner meanings. Okay. So, yeah, preaching has been like that.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, just to summarize, you said that first you prepare a consciousness and then understand the needs of audience. So, was there any more point or just these 2 points, Prabhu?
Yeah, these 2 points mainly, but this is like what I gave an extended discussion.
Yeah,
based on
this is like
Prabhu's
complete essence of, yes. So preparation for a preacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
For your question, these are the answers, but extended answer to Prabhu's question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Uma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Anand Pranam. Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, right now you were discussing about this point. So I had this question. Prabhuji, when I discuss Krishna's pastimes with Krishu, like stories, he only likes like Trunavata pastime, where violence is more. Like Krishna has fought with demons like this. I have to tell him in detail and with actions also. So then only he likes it. If I say some sweet pastimes of Krishna, he say that I already heard it. Don't tell me. Like that he will say. So I am trying to explain Krishna stories to him right now, but he takes only the violence involved stories only. So how can I explain him, Prabhuji?
Yeah, different devotees have different rasas. Whenever there is a lot of description of fighting, I just go fast in that, either in reading or speaking. So Varahadev is fighting with Hiranyaksha. It's fine. There's a fight. I just went through once or twice, but there's not so much excitement. So different devotees have different moods. Okay. But when a shloka comes about Krishna's qualities, so I get excited. I go to word-to-word meaning. I wrote an article about Krishna, Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. And in that I quoted one shloka from the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Gopyaha tapaha kimacharanyadamushya rupam lavanya saramasamurdhamananyasdham. One of my favorite slokas. And in that there are 6 attributes of Krishna's beauty. Right? So we have one devotee who is proofreading that article. So I had sent this to him and then he proofread the article and he said, a wonderful article, brilliant article. But you can remove this section, this one shloka, it's out of place, out of context, and you can remove that. Everything else is fine. I said that is the essence of the article. That's the most important element of the article. I will not remove it. I respect your proofreading and editing abilities. Wonderful. Thank you for your judgment. And I accept all the mistakes that you have corrected here and there, but this I cannot remove. It's a fine author's choice. Okay. So different devotees have different moods. They relish different things. It's fine. No problem. Okay. So Krishna is more excited with fighting episodes.
Yes, Prabhuji, but I am unable to explain the fighting scenes.
No problem.
And
There are
sometimes
other
he-
devotees who relish fighting episodes. You can just bring them in contact with them. There is one boy, Naman Pandey. Okay, he keeps coming for our classes. He will explain. Okay, you connect them to different devotees. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Hari Krishna.
So I'll conclude with one last sloka. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavah prayasho janah paramaradhanam tadhe purushasya akhilatmanah. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavah prayasho janah. This shloka comes in the context of glorifying Lord Shiva. Okay, so Shiva is he prepared himself to drink poison also, just to protect the entire universe from being affected by this poison that came out of Samudra Manthan. He was drinking poison and his wife Parvati gave permission to drink poison. Which wife will give permission to husband to drink poison? But Parvati gave. Okay, the spirit is compassion here. Okay, she understands the power of Lord Shiva. Not only power, his mood also. She said, my dear Parvati, see how all these people in this universe are getting affected, tormented by this poison. So I must extend myself to help them. And if I do so, Lord Vishnu will be pleased. Tapyante lokatapena means devotees, great devotees like Parikshit or Shiva, they will undergo personal austerity and misery to relieve other people from their miseries. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavaha prayasho janaha. Almost always they extend themselves to relieve common people from their suffering. Parama aradhanam tadhi, that is the greatest form of aradhana, worship of Krishna. Purushasya akhilatmanaha. So Prabhupada was living in Vrindavan, where people are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Every day they are going to Mangalartis in all 7 prominent temples. Okay, early morning parikrama. If you just go attend all Mangalartis, one temple by another temple. Even in GV also there are all replicas of different temples, right? So we organized artis like that. So let's begin with one temple arti. Okay, after 10 minutes next arti begins. After 10 minutes next arti begins. So those who want to do parikrama, they can just begin with Govinji temple and then come slowly one temple by another temple arti. Okay, all 7 artis they can attend, and then Yamana arti, Giriraj arti also later. Okay, so Prabhupada was in such a vibrant spiritual ambience at one point, but he was thinking, people of the Western world, they don't know Vrindavan, they don't know Krishna, they don't know what it means to live without sense gratification. I must give this Krishna and Vrindavan to Western people. He was sitting there and thinking about America. And then at the age of 70, he went to America just to exhibit his compassion. This is Tapyante lokatapena. On the way, Prabhupada had so much of trouble. He had heart attacks and other seasickness and other health issues. But still, Prabhupada was inspired enough and committed enough, compassionate enough to take up all kinds of troubles to relieve common people from their troubles. Okay. So, you know the story of Haridas Thakur. He was living at Banapal, and there was a person named Ramachandra Khan who became very envious of Haridas Thakur, and he had sent a professional prostitute to distract him, and deviate him, and defame him. But ultimately, that prostitute was transformed into a pure devotee, and Ramachandra Khan's attempts failed. But Haridas Thakur did not have even slightest amount of grudge or envy or anger towards Ramachandra Khan. He understands he's fool. He's an envious person, but he did not hold any grudge, and he did not hold any grudge towards that prostitute also. In fact, he told that that lady that the very day on which Ramachandra Khan planned to send me to you, I have planned to leave Vanapur. But I stayed back. Only for you. Only for you I have stayed back. Because I know you will come to distract me. And in 3 days, you have become a pure Vaishnavi now. To bring transformation in you, I have stayed back. So Haridas Thakur has changed his itinerary, his schedule, his plan, okay, to show compassion on this prostitute who came with a malicious intention to distract him and deviate him and defame him. Okay, so he's a pure Vaishnava, exalted devotee, and here is Ramachandra Khan trying to prove that he's not even following 4 regulative principles and having some connections with prostitutes. What a heinous plan! What a great aparadh! But Haridas Thakur did not have a single, even small iota of grudge towards him, and on top of it, he was compassionate to the prostitute. Although prostitute was sinful, she was not offensive. Okay, she was sinful. Yeah, in one sense you can call her offensive also. But point is, she's acting as an instrument in the plan of Ramachandra Khan. He is the main villain, right? She is just an instrument, and she is innocent in that sense. Therefore, Haridas Thakur wanted to show some compassion on her, and she became a pure Vaishnavi, right? She became as great as Haridas Thakur in terms of chanting 192 rounds and sitting in front of Tulsi plant, and many great devotees come to take her darshan, right? So this is compassion. A devotee does not hate even those people who hate him, those people who try to defame him, those people who try to hurt him, harm him in various ways. So that is compassion, and try to work for their welfare. Prahalad Maharaj prayed for the upliftment of Hiranyakashipu. So that is his compassion. But Dhruva Maharaj, he held grudge, he held negativity, he held envy towards Uttama and Suruchi. But later he regretted. Mother Suniti told, very clearly Mother Suniti told, my dear son, please don't hold any grudge or hatred or envy towards anyone. Don't desire harm for Suruchi. Okay. So worship the Lord, that's all. But Dhruva could not handle it. Dhruva could not take that decision, take that suggestion. He continued to hold some grudge towards Suruchi, and he even did tapasya to fulfill his material ambition and with that revengeful feelings. And eventually he was transformed, and he became very regretful for holding that grudge. If we hold grudge towards even those people who harm us, we will have to feel the regret or repentance like Dhruva did. So it's not worth holding grudge towards anyone. However traumatic our experience may be, it's not worth holding grudge. Yeah, it's very difficult not to hold grudge, that we acknowledge. Okay. When the experience is so painful and so traumatic, it's not that easy to forgive or forget or not hold negative feelings. But ultimately, if you want love for Krishna, if you want to reach Krishna's lotus feet, we should consciously make a choice to give up all grudges towards anyone. Haridas Thakur had no grudge towards Ramachandra Khan or prostitute or Gopal Chakravarti, who insulted him in that assembly of Vaishnavas at Govardhan Majumdar's place. And Prahalad did not have any grudge towards Hiranyakashipu. Okay, so Yudhishthira Maharaj did not have any grudge towards Duryodhan. So Bhagavatam is filled with examples of devotees who did not hold even the slightest tinge of grudge or envy towards the most heinous demoniac people who harmed him in 100 different ways. They dealt with them. They spoke against them, they acted against them, but they never had any envy in the heart. So they only had compassion. Okay, compassionately they are praying for the upliftment of their poor consciousness. So with this I'll conclude. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you have a question? Divya Gauranga Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Danvat Pranam. Very nice, inspiring class. Prabhuji, Haridas Thakur is Uttama Adhikari, right? Because he sees everyone on equal plane. But we learned that Bhakti is Ahaituki. So only from the heart of Madhyama Adhikari the Bhakti can. So this lady, she
can act
became
as
pure.
Madhyama. Yes, Mataji. We discussed it
Yeah.
in the other class also. Uttamadhikari acts as Madhyamadhikari. There's no difference there. Just like for a pure devotee, there is no difference between Paramatma and Bhagavan. The Lord in the heart is Bhagavan also, Paramatma also for them. Okay. Similarly, for a pure devotee who is on the Uttama level, he can even step down to Madhyama level for the purpose of preaching. And he can go back to Uttama level also. He can just keep shifting gears. Go to first floor, second floor. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll meet next week. Next week is Gaur Purnima. We may not meet.
Yes, Prabhu. I just wanted to say, yeah. Next week, Monday, we cancel the class, Prabhu, because it is Gaur Purnima, and we will meet following week. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your wonderful sessions.
Hare Krishna.
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo. Antakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.